everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on my channel today. I'm Rebecca Vernon, and if you don't know me, I am a mum of 3, soon to all be adults. I have 1 grandson and I have another grandson on the way this summer. So today I had a very exciting experience for me. At the weekend I found out about a sewing machine that was for sale in my hospice shop, and it was a brand new and in boxed condition, unopened. So anybody who's watched any of my videos before will know that that excites me beyond, oh my god, all my wildest dreams. So if you have seen any of my videos before, you might have seen a video that I did on a Singer heavy duty overlocker, and we'll put the link in the comments. It is actually my most popular video, but however, I'm not saying it's the best video because I did it a long time ago when I first started, so let's hope that this video will be a little bit better. So please excuse me that that was not my best video, although it has had the most views. So here is what I have purchased. This is a Singer sewing machine. It is a heavy duty one of theirs. It's the 4411, and this sewing machine actually has 11 different stitches that it can do. It does a 4-step automatic buttonhole, and it can do 1,100 stitches per minute, which sounds amazing. It's something to do with the mechanism inside. Instead of going backwards and forwards, it continues on a continuous loop, which is what means that it can achieve such fantastic speed on the sewing. I actually have one of their earlier versions. When I say one of their earlier versions, it's a really early version. I think I have a metal sewing machine at the minute. These are metal based sewing machines, and obviously they're painted up. And I have one of their sewing machines which is nearly 30 years old now. Don't get me wrong, I have bought other sewing machines in the meantime. I have bought Toyotas, I have bought Juki, J-U-K-I, I think that's how it's pronounced. We do actually have a Juki overlocker, which we really like, but the Juki sewing machine just could not compete with the metal Singer sewing machines. So always, even though I've bought new ones, I've always gone back to that Singer metal sewing machine. So I'm imagining that having bought this one, this is going to be a real workhorse like my original Singer sewing machine, and that this is going to finally properly replace it. I tried other makes thinking, let's buy something, I need a new sewing machine, and bought cheaper ones, and at the end of the day it's just a waste of time. Yeah, you can get a sewing machine out there for £100, you can get one for 150, 200, but you're better off waiting and putting a proper investment. Of course, if you don't do heavy duty sewing like me, you're not sewing oilcloth, you're not sewing big bulky interfacing, then you won't need a heavy duty one. But Singer sewing machines, I think, are the best. But if you want a sewing machine that's going to last and last and last, their metal ones, which are part of the heavy duty range, are definitely the best sewing machines. I know other people have bought more expensive sewing machines and have ended up coming back to these. So let's hope this does what I think it's going to do. So let's have a look what's in here. So there's some instructions on here on a disc. Let's see. Ooh, it's got a handle. Yee, look at this, it's my sewing machine. How exciting. Right, so obviously I bought this from a hospice shop, and somebody has obviously tried to get, or sort of thought about getting it out of here, hence why we've got a little bit of the polystyrene broken off there. So maybe they have had it out of the box, I don't know. I wouldn't really know, but it looks brand new. It looks never used. So let's, oops, there's it, that's the foot. Oh my goodness. Can you just take that box away? Thank you. Oh, it's got some instructions in there, Miles, thank you. So, yeah, it's definitely never been used because this pedal has still got the tape on it, the original tape. So, we've got a foot pedal in there. And we've got an instruction booklet which will tell you it in about, I don't know how many different languages, to be fair. That's lots and lots of different languages. I'm sure it is available in English, Dutch. I can't even tell you what all these languages are, to be fair. There are so many of them. Yeah, loads and loads of languages. I really don't know what they all are. But that looks like that's not in English in that booklet. There is also a dust cover, which is, now, I never used to really bother about the dust cover, and Singer sewing machines used to come with a cream, like plasticky, vinyl-y sort of cover, and obviously this is not as good a quality. This is like a microfibery type one, so yeah, but you really should put it on. Even if you're going to be using your machine later, put it on, because sewing machines attract the dust, and the main problem with sewing machines is the dust from the fabrics that you are using. You really should hoover them out and hoover them off on a weekly basis at the very least. So that's the bag to go over the top when it is resting. And even better if you could put it in a cupboard. But if you don't want to, because you want to have it set up, then that is not a problem, because you've got the cover to put over. So this is the sewing machine. I'll just lift it up a little bit with the handle, and let's see if we can get the, sorry if we're squeaking. My assistant is offering some help. So that's one piece of polystyrene, and another piece of polystyrene off this end. Ooh, it's a bit squeaky, sorry if that noise offends anybody. And then we've got a plastic bag over the top, and here it is. So, a bit more polystyrene in the middle. That must have been where originally the pedal was stored, but obviously somebody's tried to get this out of here. That's why the pedal's not in there. So, yeah, it looks very, very similar. So on the top, you've got, that's where you wind your bobbin up. I know these things. This is the stitch width. So that is showing zigzag there, but it's the stitch width. This is the needle position, so you can obviously alter that. And then we've got the tension dial. Now, I think that is to do with the tension of the thread going through, and this is part of the feed. So in actual fact, it probably feeds up the same as my machine that I've had for nearly 30 years. They are very, very similar. So we've got stitch length on the front here, And then we've got the 11 different stitches that it does. So it does straight stitch, a zigzag stitch, these serging stitches for the edge, and it actually does a little decorative, I don't even know what all of these are called, to be honest. I don't use very many of them. Mainly I use a straight stitch. I do a little bit of zigzag, but because I've got an overlocker or a serger, I tend not to use that so much anymore, as I would have done years and years ago. It's got a few decorative stitches here, and this little scallopy one is a really cute little stitch, especially if you're making little children's clothing. It really just finishes things off. And then it's got the 4-step buttonholer, which appears to me to be in exactly the same way that my old sewing machine is. Oh, that's different. The reverse lever is actually higher up on the machine. Now that will be very, very useful, because my grandson likes to come and stitch. He's always saying to me, "Nana, you're not sewing?" And so, yeah, and my reverse thing was somewhere down here at the bottom of the machine, so he used to be able to press that. So the fact it's up here might mean he can't reach, which is always good, because we don't always want to go backwards, Lawrence. No, sometimes we like to go forwards. So yeah, so that is looking really, really good. Very, very exciting. It is, let's just lift the needle out of that paper. It is actually a drop feed machine, which means that the bobbin drops in from the top here. Now, I always find a drop bobbin machine to be easier to load on the bobbin arm than the front loaders. I have had the front loaders, but I do not think that they are quite as easy to work with as a drop loader. So, one thing I would say about Singer sewing machines is they are very, very good at having all parts available to be able to be replaced. So things that wear on them, if you do a lot of sewing, you can very easily get them replaced. So I'm imagining, yes, that actually does pull off there. I'm also imagining that it opens. It does. And there are some little tools in here. Little tools. Now these are always very useful. So in here we have, this is to hold the cotton on the top. See, I don't even need the instructions to this machine because it's very, very similar. So that goes onto there, and that just holds your bobbin of cotton on there. I think there is also, yes there is also a little bit that goes on top of the machine. There is a hole here, and you can put that up there, and that you can also put your bobbin on there. Now, I'm not certain, but I think you might be able to buy a larger attachment for that, which means you can put bigger bobbins on. I have a feeling you can. Don't quote me on that, you need to check, but I think there is a situation that you can do that. So let's have a look what else is in here. There is also a foot so that you can, which foot have we got on here? We've just got an ordinary foot on there. So then there is this foot, which means that you can sew on either side of the foot. Goodness knows what the technical names for these are. I don't need to know. I don't really think anybody needs to know. This is a major, major tool. That is really good for getting the fluff out, and you really should use that on a daily basis. Your sewing machine will only work as well as you keep it clean and look after it. There are some bobbins, some clear bobbins in there, brand new bobbins. There is also this, which is for doing the buttonhole. And what else have we got? This little thing here, which I suspect is a little foot. I don't exactly know what that is. Not sure I've used one of those before, but I'm sure we will find out. And there are a couple of other little bits. Oh, there's a little disc here, felt disc, which I believe goes on her. Or you can use it, of course, on here. I feel that that feels very, very loose and precarious in comparison to my 30-year-old machine. But, however, I'm sure it's a replaceable part anyway. And then we have some other little bits in here. We have this, which I assume goes on the end of there, and it would go on the end of here, I imagine. Don't drop it and lose it. Oh, that was a bit of a nana groan then, wasn't it? So imagine that goes on the end there, so you can hold on quite long bobbins. Yeah, it does. And then there are two other little things in here, little metal things. I don't know what they do. That probably is a key thing for undoing the screws, I imagine. Yeah, it is. And it also does the little tiny bits like that. So that's really handy to have. I don't know what that is. I can't remember. I will remember. And of course I will. This is just the unboxing video. We will do another video of me using it and showing you how to thread it and how to use it correctly, giving you some advice, because I'm sure there are people out there who have had sewing machines before and use them really, really effectively, and you might just want to buy this machine because now you use it more. But there also will be people out there who have never had a sewing machine who want some really basic information. So you can also, for this sewing machine, I believe, let's just close that up. So that's the short arm. I believe you can buy a long arm, which comes out further here and comes out to about there. So that is for if you're doing big items like curtains or quilted items. However, I have been doing curtains on my old machine for 30 years and I have never bought the large extending bed. I've always just used it on this. Maybe it might have helped me, but I never did purchase. So let's just pop that under there. Just, I don't know what, but anyway, I think previously the needle was through it. So yeah, this is my 4411, my new machine. It's so exciting. It's also very nerve-wracking. It's very exciting to have a new machine, but it's very nerve-wracking to use it for the first time. And I've been sewing, well, I started sewing when I was a child with my mum. When we didn't have a foot pedal, we had a machine that had a bar that came out from the front and you did it with your knee. So I've been sewing for a very long time, but even every single time I get a new machine, I always feel nervous of starting using it, but excited as well. But it's good to be nervous and excited. So yeah, that's my new machine. Thanks very much for dropping in. If you want to see more videos about me using this, please don't forget to subscribe, and if you hit the little bell button at the subscribe, it will notify you when new videos come up. I do all sorts of videos. I do try-on hauls as well, but I will be doing some about this particular machine, and hopefully in time I will get back to the overlocker, discovering what that does. But I will do some really basic videos on this, how to thread it up videos, how to use the different stitches, because I think that people will find it really, really useful. So come along the journey, click subscribe, click the notification bell, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. If there's something else you want to ask about the sewing machine or about other sewing machines, if you need some help, pop some questions on there in the comments. Thank you for joining me. Bye, have a nice day.